Hello dear students, I am Dr. Chandrakala HT. In this video, I'll be teaching World Wide Web under the topic Application Layer. The World Wide Web, which is also called as web in short, is a collection of websites or web pages which contain information. These web pages, they can be read or downloaded from any computer which is connected on the network. Any local computer through internet can have an access to these websites on the World Wide Web. The websites contain text images, text content, digital images, audios, videos, so on. User can access these content by sitting in any part of the world over the internet using his computing facility, which may be a computer, laptop, cell phone, so on. Along with internet, the World Wide Web enables the user to retrieve and display any text or media on his device through the World Wide Web. The web pages, which are the basic building blocks of www, they are prepared and formatted in a special language called hypertext markup language. And these web pages are interconnected using links called hypertext links. A web page is given a unique online address called Uniform Resource Locator or URL. Every web page in the World Wide Web will have a unique URL. Now let us see how the World Wide Web works. The web server houses all the web pages in its database, and any user of the network who wants this information stored on the server will raise a request through a browser. A web browser is a special software program which can raise requests for the web pages to the web server and download and display them to the user. Some of the examples of web browser are Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Internet Explorer. The client computer is the one which raises request for the web page. This client computer can be a mobile, PC, laptop, so on. For a client to raise a request for the web page, it has to have an installed browser, web browser in it. So this web browser will allow the user to raise a HTTP request to the web server for any web page. On receipt of this request, the web server will locate that particular web page in its database and send back this particular web page to the client in the form of a HTML response. All the websites are stored on the database of the web server. The moment the client opens a browser and types the URL of that particular website or web page, the www will start working on it, and it will retrieve and send back the requested website within fractions of seconds to the client. Three main technologies are involved in this transfer of web pages from server to client. Those are, the first one is hypertext markup language, which is used to create and maintain the web pages. And the hypertext transfer protocol is involved in the request of web pages, retrieving them and displaying them to the local host. And the web browser, which is a special software which aids the local user to raise requests for the web pages. The next topic which we will be discussing in this video is sockets. A socket is an endpoint of a two-way communication link between two programs running on the network. So two communicating hosts on the network will have two programs which are communicating with each other in actuality, and these two programs, they communicate using an endpoint called socket. The socket mechanism provides a means for inter-process communication by establishing contact points between the two programs which are actually communicating with each other. The two programs are one program running on the host or sender and another program which is running on the receiver. The sockets are created by the host computers using the socket system call. The socket provides a bidirectional first in first out communication facility over the network, and the socket connecting to the network will be created at each end of the communication before the communication starts. Each socket will have a specific address which is composed of the IP address and a port number. IP address is required to locate the file or web page on the network, and port number is required for communication between the two processes. Sockets are generally employed in client-server application modes. The server will create a socket and attaches it to a network port address and waits for the client to contact it. The client in turn creates a socket and attempts to connect to the server socket. Once it is successful in establishing a connection with the server, the data transfer will take place. There are two different types of sockets, datagram socket and stream socket. Datagram socket is a network socket which is connection less by nature. So it provides a connectionless path for sending and receiving packets. The mailbox is an example of datagram socket. Stream socket is a connection-oriented network socket. It provides a pre-established connection through which the two communicating processes can send and receive packets. It's similar to a connection established between two phones and a conversation taking place in between them. Some of the system calls which are used for creating and maintaining a socket are shown in this picture. On the server side, the main system calls used for socket purpose are socket, bind, listen, accept, receive, send, and close. On client, system calls socket, connect, send, receive, and close will be used. Now let us understand the function of each of these system call. The create function call is analogous to the socket system call. It is used to create a socket. The bind function call is used to bind each socket with a unique socket identification number, just like a telephone number between two contacting persons. The listen function call, it indicates that the server is ready to receive a connection from the client. The connect system call indicates that the client is ready to act as a sender. The accept function call indicates a confirmation that the sender is ready to, the server is ready to accept the calls from a sender. The send function call is used to send data between the server and the client, and receive function call is used to receive data between the server and client. The close system call is used to close a socket connection. So this was about the sockets, which are the endpoints of communication between two application processes. So in this video, we learned World Wide Web in detail and also the importance of sockets, which are used for communication between two application layer processes. Thank you.